Good evening. Hopefully, everyone is doing well this evening. We're in this holiday season. Everything is new this year. We're dealing with a holiday during a pandemic. We still have everyone out there enjoying their families, celebrating their life, not focusing on so much what has happened negatively, but focusing on the positives that have happened and looking forward to always improving. I am Dr. Gregory A. Salters. I am your law enforcement executive and your success and leadership coach. Thank you for tuning in tonight. What we're going to be talking about tonight is something that is near and dear to all of us. It is the crime and perception of crime within our communities. Many of us talk about crime and we talk about that none of us wants to live in a community that has a high crime rate. None of us want to live in fear of crime. So what are some of the things that we can do to reduce crime and reduce the fear of crime in our communities? And does it really concern us? Some individuals think it doesn't concern us. Some think if I don't know about it, it does not occur. Many law enforcement agencies are trying to work with the communities to see what we can do to reduce crime. I can tell you as a law enforcement executive and been in law enforcement for nearly 28 years, law enforcement professionals cannot reduce crime by themselves. This is something that has to take place when we engage and partner with our community, our stakeholders, and we do this as a team because this is truly our community. Many individuals are unaware of how crime really impacts us as a community. Crime or the perception of crime can reduce our property values because if you're having a lot of crime going on, individuals do not wish to buy your property. Property values goes down. And sometimes that would be a whole economic lesson as to what happens there, because if your property values go down, you have a millage rate that stays the same. So let's hypothetically say that your millage rate is 10%. So 10% of $100,000 is what goes towards the things that you have for your infrastructure in your community. If your property value goes up to 200,000 from the 100,000, you've basically doubled the amount of money that's going into your community, which could be put into your streets, your sewers, your schools, a lot of things that the government provides for your community. However, if it goes the other way and crime goes up and your property value goes down and it still stays at that 10%, you're reducing the amount of money that is going towards your government. So therefore, the services that you provide, that the government provides you, will be reduced. So therefore, we all have a definite interest and a need for our crime to go down. So therefore, our property values can go up, and therefore the services that we get can go up from our communities. It's very complicated, but that is it in a very small area. Also, when we're having crime, think about what happens with our schools and with our children when they're walking to school or taking the buses. If we don't keep our crime down and monitor those things, our children are not being safe. And all of us want our kids to be safe, want them to live and grow up and have a better life than we did. So we need to work together so that we can identify the issues that are creating the crime and address them and get those things out of our community. Also, a part of engaging with individuals and dealing with the crime is that you must work with your police department. When we're out there doing our job and we're asking for your assistance, we're asking for you to identify the criminals, work with us so that we can do this. We need your assistance. And so when we're talking about these things, I just want you to look and see how this crime really impacts us, impacts our community. And now we're just going to talk about three things, the three things that I was going to make sure that we discuss. The very first thing is be aware of your surroundings. How many times have you seen us to where we'll be out there on our cell phones and we'll be playing on the cell phone, texting, FaceTiming, WhatsApping, doing whatever we do on our cell phones, and we're totally distracted from the surroundings? That can be dangerous in a number of ways. One, there could be someone coming by on a car. We could be involved in a traffic accident. We could walk into something. Also, if criminals, just like I said, you often hear me say success is options. What criminals do is they look out there at possible targets and they see what are their options that are out there. If they see individuals that look distracted and that type of thing, those would be the ones that the criminals will go after. When you're alert and watching them, it decreases the criminals' desire to want to victimize you. So when you're out and you're walking, are you actually distracted or are you actually paying attention to your surroundings? Also, with your surroundings, we're talking about pure safety. You've seen it to where some individuals have walked into danger because they've been so distracted. Also, when you're having on your headphones, one of the things sometimes we don't really think about, when you have on your headphones, you cannot hear everything going on around you. Even if you have the headphones where you can hear ambient noise, you can be distracted. So sometimes what I tell individuals to do, you may only want to have in one earbud. So therefore, at least you can hear on the other side what's going on around you. These are the things, because if someone is going to target you, you may be able to hear them as they walk, as they drive their bicycle close to you, they drive their car, you're paying attention. And as they say in football, when I was growing up, your head's always on a swivel, looking around, making sure you are alert at what's going on. So that's why I say stop, look, and listen. Stop being on the phone. Stop having so many other things going on when you're out in public. Then you look around you, because when you make eye contact with individuals, that can also be a deterrent, because now you have seen them, can identify who they are, you see what's going on, you are showing that you are alert. Then also listen, stop, look, and listen. Listen to the things that are going on around you. You may hear individuals walking up, you may hear individuals talking about something that's going on. This is also very key when you're at the ATM machine. When you go to the ATM machine, take your headphones off. Many ATM machines have the mirrors around them. When you're approaching the ATM, look around, see who's there. Make sure the coast is clear. If you're going in the evening or at night, you might want to make sure that you do not go by yourself. You may wish to take someone with you, where one watches the surroundings while you're making your transaction. And if you can, avoid going to the ATM to take out money or have cash in your hand at night. Because what you're doing now is you're increasing the chances of someone wanting to victimize you. If you have to, go ahead, but let's do it safely. So again, you need to be alert to your surroundings. Stop, look, and listen. Stop being distracted. Look around you to see who's around, and also listen. Use the senses that you have to be safe. The next thing that we look at is when you're out of town and on vacation. I see all these wonderful pictures and videos that individuals post. Are you aware that as you are posting those pictures, you're basically advertising to everyone that you are not home? So when you're advertising that you aren't home, what are they doing? I have seen cases where individuals, quote unquote, friends, have burglarized their homes while they were out enjoying a vacation, and they're posting the pictures. So therefore, your friends on Facebook, on the other social media platforms, and whomever they have shared these other pictures with, and since you've used all of the hashtags and ats, and you're going viral. As you're going viral with your post, you're going viral with telling everyone that you are not at your residence. So as you're telling them that, you could become a victim by individuals knowing that you aren't there and they're victimizing you. Is that really what you want to do? I would suggest for individuals to wait until they return home from their vacations, and then they can post all of the pictures that they wish about what they did. But at least at that time, you are home in your residence. Now, this caused a problem with my 20-something-year-old daughter when I went out of town, and she was taking pictures and wanted to just post all of the pictures while we're out of town. And I was adamant against her not posting those pictures. It created a little tension there, but in the end, I felt more secure in not advertising that my home was vacant. Also, when you're going on vacation, many police departments, you can notify them that you are out, and perhaps they can have extra watch around your home. If you've been engaging with the police department and you have developed a relationship with the officers that are patrolling your area, they may know that you are away. They would just, because they know you, drive by, take a look at the house, make sure everything is okay. It's another benefit of just building relationships and engaging with the officers that are in your area, because we watch, we know what's normal. And if we know that you aren't there, we can at least drive by, see how things are going, make sure things are okay. That's why you need to engage with your police department, talk with the officers that are in your area. Don't just communicate with them, connect with them. That's when we can go to the next level. And that's one of the things that we're looking at also in this particular season, when you're talking about being alert of your surroundings and when you're talking about notifying people when you are away. Think about right now, you might not be on a trip around the world. You may be out at your local mall and they have a Santa out there, and you're taking pictures with your kid and you're posting, I'm out at the mall having a great time with my kids. Okay, People may know how far that mall is away from your home. They could burglarize your house there, and you're doing things that you're thinking are nothing. You might be out at a local restaurant posting that you're there. Remember, criminals do things that are illegal and get caught. They are not stupid. They can do the same things that we're doing, watching, and you're letting everybody know what you're doing. You're advertising and you're creating some options. You're increasing the chances or the options for a criminal wanting to target you. Is that really what you're wanting to do? We need to be aware of those things. You have some other things that are going on also, is that when you are looking out there, it's kind of interesting. You might go to one store or one mall, you'll make your purchases, and you put your items in your back seat of your car. It doesn't matter whether you have tinted windows or not, and you'll drive over to another location. You leave those packages there. What you are doing right now is you're basically advertising. And what criminals do, they're very opportunistic. So they might be just walking in the parking lot, looking in cars to see if they see packages. All of the other cars have their packages in the trunk. The criminal might believe they're in the trunk, but because they don't see them, it's not worth the risk, or the risk is reduced. So now when they pass by your car and see the packages in the back seat, they break the window, they take the packages, and they run down the street away from your car sometimes, or get into another car. And it's really interesting because if you've shopped at one store and they take that bag and they're running down the street, that store now is getting advertising from that criminal as they run down the street with your purchase in their bag. So be careful. I often tell people, whenever you're making a purchase at a store and you're leaving a location, put your items immediately in your trunk at that first stop. So therefore, when you get to the other location, do not open your trunk, because when you open it, that lets individuals know that there may or may not be something in your trunk. I have been a victim of a crime like that. It was years back. I went to a movie theater. When I went to the movie theater, I got out of the car. I put my belongings into the trunk, and then I went into the movie theater. I came out, went home, didn't think anything of it, went to work the next day, and I'm like, oh, okay, I left my stuff in the trunk. I go to the trunk, nothing was in the trunk. I could tell that someone had been rumbling around in my trunk and had taken out my valuables. Went back to the theater. It turns out that some other vehicles had also been burglarized. There was no evidence of forced entry. We found out later that there was a little electronic key fob that was kind of like a master key fob, if you will, on those particular model vehicles. And they were using that to get into the cars. So they used that, got into the car, and they left. If I would not have gone to the trunk, they would not have been so inclined to come over and victimize me. Perhaps they would have victimized someone else. That was what I did. I did not follow that rule of not going to my trunk once I've made it to the next location. Another thing that you want to do is when you go out and you're shopping, always when you're going, try not to create a habit of going the same way home every day, because people will follow you. You might want to watch your rear view mirror, drive a little different way, and watch to make sure you're not followed, especially if you've gone to the ATM, made any large withdrawals, made any large purchases. And sometimes you may have gone to a jewelry store. You've seen it where individuals that are jewelry dealers have been followed from the airport, followed from their various jewelry stores and this type of thing. You need to be aware. As I stated before, be aware of your surroundings. Stop, look, and listen. So we're dealing with that. So make sure that when you're going out of town, or even when you're just leaving the house, don't post pictures of you being out until you return home. You're advertising to individuals that you are not home, which could cause you to be a victim. The other one, when you leave the items inside your car, make sure that you put those in the trunk, because we don't want to advertise that that's what we have and those things are there. Want to go over these things with you guys, because one of the things that I want us to make sure that we do is we need to partner. From a law enforcement standpoint, we need to partner with the community. We need to be having more of these conversations, because if we can give you tips to stop you from being a victim of a crime and stop crime from occurring. That keeps down crime in our city. It also has you feeling safer, because we don't want to create a situation where the criminals say, wow, these are some great options, so I'm going to just victimize people in this particular area. We want to decrease the chances of us being victimized by the criminals. There are also various things that you can look at. You're beginning to see the video doorbells. You're having those things. Also having the lights around your house. Also, you may even wish to contact your local police department and ask if they can come out and perhaps give you some tips or do a survey of your house so that you can have some tips on your businesses as well. Because what there is, it's what's called out there is CPTED, which is crime prevention through environmental design, where they start looking at what do you have around your house? How is it designed? Is it designed to keep down crime or not to keep down crime? Very little things that you can do to help reduce the crime in your area. So we want to, let's go through it again. When we're out here, first, we need to begin engaging more law enforcement in the community and our schools. We also need to be aware of our surroundings. We need to stop being on the phone all of the time. We need to take perhaps one of the earbuds out so we can hear what's going on. So stop, look, and listen. Yes, prevention is always better than solving. That's one thing. If we can prevent crime, now you look at it, because now in certain neighborhoods, we don't have crime. And ironically, that's one of the things that's happened sometimes in some of the communities I've dealt with. They don't have crime, and their complaint is we don't see police officers. And I have to let them know that our police officers are assigned based on the crime that we have in the area. And some of the other areas have more officers because we have a higher need. But so we have to kind of balance that need. And Wayne Boyer, glad that you could join us again from Broward County Institute of Public Safety. DJ Kevin Stu, glad you're out here. Know that you share a lot of information with the community. So as you have your radio program, talk to them about these things. These are some things we need to do in our community to keep the crime down, because if we can keep that crime down, we all are going to benefit from these things. So once again, we want to be aware of your surroundings. When you're out of town and on vacation, don't post those things while you're out there and away from your home. And on the third one, when you're purchasing things, get into the habit of putting the things in your trunk at the location once you purchase them, so they're no longer in your back seat and in plain view when you go to other locations. And also watch when you're driving. Watch to make sure you're not being followed. Melissa Jane, thank you for tuning in. A lot of things when you're talking about the things with social media. If y'all are needing any help with social media, she has some definite classes and things that are out there. And some of these are some of the issues that we might need to put some classes on to help our community look out for itself. See if we have any other comments. Okay. So once again, like I told you all tonight, I just wanted to give you all this because particularly during these holiday seasons, we're going out there, and remember, we aren't the only ones shopping and looking for bargains. Criminals are also out there shopping and looking for bargains with our property that we've worked hard to get. This has been a truly rough year. Many times when we're spending money right now, we're definitely making some sacrifices. It has not been easy for us to get the things that we have. So when we have worked hard for what we have and we're making sacrifices to try to brighten up the lives of others and purchase the things that we need, we want to make sure we're safeguarding those so others do not take them from us. Remember, I am Dr. Gregory A. Salters. You all have been seasoned for success. I want you all to work hard so that we can reduce the options of us being victimized. Don't be a criminal's number one option. You all have a good evening.